Hey everybody, welcome to Growing Gainesville. Thanks for taking time to tune in with us today, where we are building a tribe, encouraging Christian business owners who are not only business owners in our community, but they're people who love God and are investing in our community in so many other ways. My name is Pastor Perdue. I am the Alive Church lead pastor, where our mission is to live, love, and lead like Jesus. And I'm joined today here by my co-host, Miss Lesley Salman.
Hi there, I'm Lesley Salman. I am a real estate agent with LPT Realty. So happy to be here, and I'm even happier today to have our extra special guest here.
Might be a stretch.
Hamacher.
Might be a stretch.
So good to have you here, pal.
We'll see.
This is Justin
Appreciate the
Hamacher
opportunity.
of Integrity First Home Loans. You just opened the company, so it's so exciting to finally have you on and
Yes.
get to introduce everybody to your new company. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, super appreciative as always of the invite. So
You just started a new company. You're brand new. It's not new to you, the work, but the company is new. So just give us a little snapshot of the journey.
sure, yeah. So my background is in, I'll just say, operations. I was the director of operations for a large franchise company. Had roughly 200 employees for 20 years and some change, and then taking some of that expertise and then blending it into the lending world, I got into the side of home finance back in roughly 2020. And then just kind of working through some different companies and seeing some pros and cons. Things have really progressed over the last year or so, where just some Lord's opened some doors to actually open up our own shop. So we started kind of getting the wheels up and running in July, and then now we're officially licensed in 5 different states, Virginia as well as others. And yeah, we're just looking to, humbly serve those around us and help them out with finance and anything home related.
I really love your name, Integrity First Home Loans. Obviously, there's a little bit of a story there as well.
For me, it was one of those things that I wasn't really sure about where to even start.
Yeah.
And just the more that I thought about it, even reading back feedback that some people have, like on Google reviews, for example, whether it's clients or other folks and just it was just one after the other. Just this guy is filled with integrity. Their team is filled with integrity. So just kind of thinking through about that's for me incredibly important, especially in not just our day and age, but specifically within the real estate world, because there's a lot of folks, and I'm sure Lesley can vouch for that maybe lack that quality, and it becomes apparent usually at some point down the road. So for me, it's priority is making sure that integrity is always first, not just for the clients that we serve, but also to be an example for those that we represent. So
That's awesome. I love the name and the logo. I love the logo. So great job on all of that for sure.
What sorts of biblical principles would you say that you use in your business that make you stand out, or that would maybe make somebody know that you're a little different, aka set apart, than other loan officers?
Good question. So for me, there's a couple of passages that I wouldn't say they're my life verse, but as far as how I interact in the professional or in the marketplace. 1 Corinthians 10:31, super important. Whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do all for the glory of God. Paul also writes to the small group of folks in Colossae and says hey, you work for the Lord, not for people. So it doesn't matter if your boss is awesome or is a jerk, right? You don't work for them. So for me, that's kind of been driving my driving philosophy 25 years. Doesn't matter who I work for, or doesn't name where the name on my company paycheck's coming from. My earnest desire, especially now as we're kind of starting out as our own, is to really glorify God, specifically in the realm of home finance. Because again, there's such an opportunity for that not to happen, but be able to look backwards and say hey, everyone that I've served or been able to partner with, it's been able to do so in such a way that was glorifying to God.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is. So tell us about the market, some of the things that are going on now, and some of the things that are on your radar that are helping people, and some of the things you can do to help people that don't think there is a possibility for them.
Yeah, really good question. So we're actually kind of in a unique, and Lesley's probably seen some of this as well, a really, really unique kind of position. We're rates are still higher than they have been, generally speaking, for the last 20 years. But over the last roughly 3 months, we've seen a pretty significant and noticeable decrease in rates.
Yeah.
At the same time, on the inventory side, homes, depending on where you're at, are sitting a little bit longer, at least on a national level. So that kind of supply-demand thing is starting to kick in. You take that into effect with some of the, even like the government shutdown and all this other, it's kind of stirring this big pot where as we move forward, one of the biggest kind of hindrances for folks over the last 3 years plus has been just affordability.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
So like a year ago, we had 30-year average rates, which were close to peaking at 8%, and now it's 6.5%. It really opens a much larger door for a lot more people to get into homes, which again, it's almost like a new story or a new chapter of the story, you know, compared to where we've been for the last 3 years. So there's a lot of folks that, as things have, I would just say, become more challenging over the last 3 years, they've either put their home hunting kind of journey on pause, and those, hopefully they'll actually be able to go out and start looking. So there's a good chance that we'll see a lot more buyer activity, you know, especially over the next 3 to 6 months.
One of the other things that most people know about you here in the community, you're also a pastor in our community. You happen to be the executive pastor for Alive Church. So Justin and I are friends. We were friends before we were in the same flock together. And it's just been a joy, Justin, to kind of hang out. We've had quite an interesting 3 years here together.
To see him grow.
I was going to say, he keeps trying to get rid of me. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
So tell me the difference between a broker and a lender.
Yeah, really good question. I'm glad you asked that. So not all, but the vast majority of folks that you're going to come across, they're going to work either as a lender or like a lending institution. So myself, I'm very different. Our company is an independent broker, which means we don't report necessarily to anyone. So every other place that I've worked in the past, as a loan officer, you're able to offer whatever 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 options that specific company might have kind of in their resume, so to speak, or in their toolkit. So as an independent broker, I'm able to not only have those same options, but if there's something else, I can just go find it. Right? And then again, being the president of the company, I don't need someone else's permission. I can just go sign up, right? So sometimes that's really important, like on certain unique situations, where you might not be cookie cutter, which is probably half the time, at least over the last couple of years. So being able to come up with unique situations that other companies just don't have access to is super important. So one is availability, and then the second one is actually like cost to the customer. You know, again, being a smaller company, I don't have 10,000 people and all these different offices that we have to finance and rents and whatever. So being, again, small and local, very clean, and again, with 25 years of small management, you know, small business management experience, really knowing how to kind of like fine tune some of those costs. So we're able to not only keep our costs minimal, but also to take loans for folks that are looking to, and then actually shop those with some of the largest loan companies on the planet. You know, which again, working for a traditional lender, you don't have the option to do. You know, again, like just with my upbringing as well as my passion, like we're told clearly in Scripture that all of Scripture is summarized by love your neighbor as yourself. And again, working for other companies, it can be frustrating and disheartening when I'm like, I know there's got to be other options out there for this specific situation, and I literally can't help this person, or I can't help them as much as I would want to. So again, having those barriers now removed, I literally can love my neighbor as myself, right? Because I can go, whatever needs to get done, I can go find a way to get it done.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into this episode. Can't wait to see you next month. Once again, I am Lesley with LPT Realty. And if you're looking for a realtor that has values that align with yours, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you so much, Justin, for being on. This is the person that can help you get your loan that has the same values as you. And finally,
absolutely. Thanks, Justin, for coming. And Lesley, we appreciate you and your leadership here in our community. Don't forget, during the season, it's Christmas. You know, if you are getting a loan to buy a home, you're going to need a church. When you come to the area, we'd love to see you at Alive Church. We have our Christmas Eve service that you're not going to want to miss at Brentsville District High School, but we'd love to just serve you in any way that we can as we serve and love our community, as we're doing in so many ways right now. I also want to just say a big thank you to Tom Millar and his wife Paula for allowing us to be here at Vita Nova. If you haven't come by this local shop, please come and do support not only the products that they bake, but also the things that they make. So thank you again, Tom and Paul, for letting us be here. We're so very grateful. Growing Gainesville, we'll see you again next month. Thanks for taking time.